Hey Raiders, Jacko here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to continue on the beginner's tutorial series that we started last time. And this time we're going to go into that portion of the game where we're going to spend the vast majority of our time, especially as beginning players, and that's going to be the campaign. So in its simplest form, the campaign is a series of 12 different stages, each of which have 12 different levels, each of which have 7 stages. The first 6 stages are just regular stages. The 7th stage in each of the levels is a boss stage. Now, some things to keep in mind as you're going through this. Each of the levels, so Felwin's Gate, Palace of Aravia, so on and so forth, are going to open up as you complete the previous area. So if we wanted to get to the Catacombs of Narbuk, we have to complete the boss stage on the sewers of Arnok, so on and so forth. Additionally, each of the stages have these little icons next to them. Those represent the artifact set that you can get in that stage. So Durham Forest can drop critical rate set artifacts. Additionally, it can drop these other things here, mostly champions, mystery shards, and silver. These are random drops. They're not going to happen every time, but they do happen sometimes. Just to note, the chance of dropping a champion does not change dependent on the difficulty campaign you're working on, and we'll get to the difficulties in just a second. However, if you do land on getting a champion drop, the higher the difficulty is, the more likely it's going to be a rare champion that does drop. Additionally, each of the stages defines a specific artifact that you can get out of the stage. So stage 1 is always going to be the weapon of whatever set the level drops. Stage 2 the helm, 3 the shield, so on and so forth. The boss stage has a random drop, so it could be any of the different artifacts, but it will always be in the set for that level, so critical rate for the Forest of Durham here. However, it will be a random drop. It can be any of them. However, the rarity is likely to be higher. As you can see, 3 to 5 star on normal. That's the star rate you can get on the drops. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now, down here we have, oh, that was not on normal, 3 to 5 star on brutal. You've got 3 or 4 different difficulties for the campaign. Normal is where you're going to start. When you complete normal, so that means finishing stage 12, level 12, stage 7, I'm going to mix those up all the time in this video, it will unlock being able to move to hard difficulty. Again, when you complete hard, it'll unlock brutal, and brutal will unlock nightmare. Each of the 4 difficulties has a star path. The star path is a series of rewards you can get for getting stars on each of the levels. Now, to get the stars is pretty simple. It goes into the details right here. To get 1 star, you just need to beat the stage. To get 2 stars, you need to beat the stage with no losses. And finally, to get 3 stars, you need to beat the stage with no losses and 2 or fewer champions. That's when things get difficult. When you get all the stars for all the levels in all the stages, or all the stages and all the levels, you'll get whatever the highest reward here. However, there are incremental rewards along the way that are really nice. So pay attention to this little star chart here. And as I said, each one's a little bit different. For example, in normal, you get a void shard instead of a sacred shard. If we come to nightmare, you get all kinds of things. As you can see, haven't done really any of nightmare yet. And the reason for that is why you use the campaign. The primary reason to use the campaign is to level up your food champions. So, where do we level our food champions? The best place to do that is in level 12, stage 3, or stage 6. Now, stage 6 is going to give you by far the most experience. If you have the EXP boost running, it's 8,800 experience on 12-3 in Brutal. Now, these are not actually food champs, they're champs I'm just leveling up, but this is my campaign farmer. So you're going to want a single campaign farmer, someone that can do the highest level possible all on their own. And that's so the other 75% of the experience that the level will drop in total will get split amongst 3 different champions. And these are your either the champions you're leveling up so that you have them leveled up, or food champions. Food champions are those champions, as we talked about in the tavern, that you're going to sacrifice to get your main champions to rank up from 5-star here to 6-star, and so on. So, the difference between the two levels you want to work on. Stage 6 gives you the most experience, flat out. Stage 3 gives you a little bit less. On 12-3 Brutal, you get 8,000 instead of 8,800, as you get on 12-6 Brutal. And the reason you would go for 12-3 is that the item drop here, shields actually sell for a little bit more than boots. So over the course of hundreds or thousands of runs that you do, you're going to get more silver out of running stage 3. Both of them work. I find that for leveling 2 stars, I run stage 3 because it's the same number of runs between stage 3 or stage 6, so I might as well get the extra food. Again, there are miscellaneous drops that can come up. I don't think I've ever gotten myself, it looks like a banner there. You can win a random, yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten a banner. However, I've got plenty of Diabolus and Pick Curs, I believe. No, Houndspawn. Anyways, those are the basics of the campaign. You're going to want to get as far into the campaign as you possibly can with that one campaign farmer that you've got. And when you get that campaign farmer to the point where they can do Brutal 12-3 or Brutal 12-6, that's where you're going to want to be leveling your food. Now, on your way there, you're likely not going to be able to get up to Brutal. Side note here. You notice that there is Nightmare. Yes, Nightmare is going to give you more experience. However, experience per energy, it's better to run Brutal rather than Nightmare. Nightmare jumps the energy cost from 8 to 14, so almost doubles it, but it doesn't double the experience you gain. So better to be on Brutal. As you're working your way up to being able to run 12-3, there are a few levels you want to keep a good eye on and farm. Push yourself to the point that you can farm those places if you can't push up to level 12 or into the next difficulty up. One of those is going to be the Deadlands. The Deadlands you specifically want to farm for War Maiden. She is a drop here. She is an exceptional champion. You can go watch the video I did on her, and I'll link that down below for you. But you can get multiple copies of her, so you can have the champion, and you can get her fully booked out just by farming the Deadlands. Additionally, you'll want to farm Valdemar Strait. Valdemar Strait you want to farm for lifesteal gear. Getting all of your champions into lifesteal gear at the beginning of the game is going to make them last much longer than they would have normally, and that's going to help you progress even farther. So, farm there if you can't get up to the Deadlands or up to 12-3 Brimstone Path. Additionally, the Palace of Aravia is somewhere to look out for, and that's because it farms speed set. Outside of life gear, speed is an incredibly important set. So, those are the 3 places you want to push yourself to farm if you can. For me, when I was stuck in Godfrey's Crossing on Brutal, I just farmed the Deadlands until I was able to level enough food to get my champion ranked up again. I didn't think about the fact that I would want the lifesteal gear here from Valdemar. So that is the campaign. That's what you're looking to do. It's all about getting your food champions leveled, getting your campaign farmer to the point where they can farm 12-3 or 12-6 Brutal, and then getting food champions ranked up so that you can go ahead and go in and rank up your other champions. So to end this off, we're going to go ahead and take a look at apparently War Chief for his outfit. Now, War Chief is not a very good legendary champion. He's got some niche uses in the arena, but in general, he's just not a good champion. But we're just looking at his aesthetics for this. So, starting at the foot or hoof in this case, he's got nice greaves. They actually look like they articulate the proper direction for the direction his, sub-knees, ankles bend. He's also got actual knee protection, which is wonderful. He's a little bit exposed in the upper legs, but that's not too worrisome given the shield he's wearing. He's got really good chest armor. It moves nicely. It's very protective. However, it's not protecting his back, specifically his kidneys, though it is protecting his spine, or his sides. And I can tell you from personal experience that getting a shot to the ribs is some of the most painful thing that can happen in a melee. Second, really only to taking a shot in the armpit. That you can never really protect from. Shots in the armpit are a horrible, horrible day. I'd rather take a shot in the cup than in the armpit, to be perfectly honest. Up here on the pauldrons, he's actually got great articulated protection for the shoulder, and the massive fantasy-esque pauldron pieces that they put are actually down on the upper arm, so they're not going to get in his way. He'll be able to move around them, and those horns are not actually going to stab him in the head. He's not going to kill himself with his own armor. This is a wonderful thing. So far, he is doing really good. Up here on the head, it's hard to see. He's got some horn protection, which is interesting, but he does have a full face covering, which is going to be very helpful. We can only hope that the little metal that he's putting in his hair is going to protect the back of his head. Well, that and horns. All in all, on armor, I'm going to give our war chief here a 4 gourd. It's not the prettiest stuff, but it is functional. In terms of weapons, he's got a nice shield here. The extra weight of the spikes is going to be a little bit annoying in long engagements, but they can be very useful for shield punching. It's big enough that he should be able to cover a good portion of his body without getting in the way. Now the spikes on his pauldron might get in the way of him shrugging his shield properly there, but I imagine he'll learn how to deal with that. The blade is a Cardor on a stick. It's much too wide for just about any blade you're going to find in reality. It looks similar to the width you would see on a Gladius, but a Gladius is only 2 to 3 feet long, so the width is not that big of a deal. When you switch it out to be a 6 foot tall blade, I'm guessing 5 to 6 feet tall, that width becomes just extra weight. It's going to be hard as hell to use this blade, in all honesty. He would be better with a shorter blade that was easier to wield, a thinner blade if he's going to be using one that long, and he's trying to use it one-handed, so I am not impressed with his blade. So all in all, we're going to give Warchief here 3 gourds on his weapons. Badass? He's intimidating. I mean, just given the fact that I can't scroll up any further means that he is tall. He's really heavily built. He's going to be an utter battering ram when it goes into a shield charge or anything like that, or a column charge. The point of a column charge, this guy is going to be a pain. He's going to hurt a lot of people as he busts through that shield wall. So I'm actually going to give our war chief here a badass rating of 4 gourds. All in all, even given that Cardor on a stick, which hopefully he can actually wield, I'm going to give the aesthetics for War Chief in his rusted old armor a 4 gourd. So that's it for this episode of Jacko's Raider Rants. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end here. Remember, if you enjoy the comment, to like, subscribe, and toll that bell. And what do you think about the campaign? What's the most important thing for you when you're going into campaign? Is it your multi-battles? Is it where you're farming? And what about War Chief? What do you think about War Chief? Let me know in the comments below. We can get a discussion going. Anyways, thank you again, and have a great day.